So, once again, Governor Ron DeSantis draws a line in the sand in his fight against woke ideology and its impact on Florida public universities. He recently just signed SB 266 into law that basically bars state funding for diversity programs in his state's universities. It's a move I think is long time coming because for too long now, woke ideology has infiltrated our country's universities in such a way that it has really turned the level of our educational standards from on high to a very low point. I believe that they have made the ideology of more significance than education or the accuracy of historical fact. I think it has replaced the function of science based truth, such as in gender description, with the more liberal ideology of I don't know what would you call it, gender. I wish I was. I don't know, but it's that ridiculous. Gender make believe maybe is the right is the word term I'm looking for. But even still, too many states have allowed this to go on, and for too long. And I'm very glad to see that Governor DeSantis has really just made a stand against that and said, you're free to have your own thoughts and ideologies about what you want. That's the blessing of this country. Um, but you're not free to dictate it in our educational institutions. They are there to equip the young with the ability to reason and to think in such a manner that brings great benefit to their lives, to the lives of others, and to our nation. And when education is replaced by ideology, then you have nothing but chaos. And I don't know about anybody else, but whenever I look outside my window, that's about all I see anymore. I see craziness. I see things that were so established for years be just cast out as if all the years of fact and truth mean nothing anymore. So let's read this article and see what it has to say. DeSantis bans state funding for diversity inclusion programs at Florida public universities. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation that bans all state funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the state's universities on Monday. DeSantis signed the legislation, SB 266, on the campus of New College of Florida, an institution to which he had made drastic changes this year. SB 266 prevents any public university from using state funding to pay for DEI programs, and it also grants university presidents more authority over hiring practice. And that, I believe, is a wonderful thing because for too long now, we have let these ESG and DEI standards dictate who can get hired or who shouldn't be hired. And basically, because that is the only way they can assure that their ideology is taught. So, to remove that from the university's hiring criteria, university presidents are now more free to judge the ability of a teacher to be hired based solely on their qualifications and their ability to teach a grounded, educationally sound curriculum and not a woke ideology. The bill is DeSantis's latest offensive against what he calls quote unquote woke influences on education. Recent years have also seen him pass legislation that grants parents more authority over their children's education in elementary, middle, and high school. Okay, so let's go on here. DeSantis is using New College of Florida, based in Sarasota, as a template for reforming the state's public universities. His administration stated that it wants to make the college more like Michigan's Hillsdale College, a private liberal arts school. Now, I got to tell you, I agree with his plan there. This woke ideology has infiltrated so many universities in this country that it's overwhelming. Uh, it's just you can't just change the entire system at once. In his plan, it makes sense to me that he would take this university, bring it back to a healthy standard of educational instruction, and through the success of its students, be able to then lay out the template for other colleges in his state and also establish why it's necessary to return to this type of university. Without the return to excellence in the educational system, we are all destined for just a nation of chaos. And I have to imagine actually that the other great powers of this world, Russia, China, are just sitting back laughing at us because of the chaos and the craziness and the nonsense that they just see on a daily basis coming from this country. We definitely do not, when we have politicians that cannot or just will not define what a woman is, uh, uh, that's basic biology. How in the world can China or Russia not just be sitting there going, well, we don't have to waste any of our missiles because they'll just destroy themselves with their stupidity, because that wherein they used to be a nation of great educational standards, now they're just a nation of idiots. Let's just walk in and tell them we own them, and they'll just give it up. We don't need to fight for it anymore. I mean, I know that's just an outrageous commentary, but in my mind, I see that where we're going as a nation is really deeper into stupidity than we are into an understanding of deeply grounded knowledge. So we there's not much hope for us as a country if we're just going to continue this downward spiral of educational standards in this country. Uh, he's quoted as saying, "There's a lot of interest in faculty around the country, and not conservative faculty, but across the board. Because I think there's a recognition that this whole framework has been very intellectually oppressive," DeSantis said. People feel like they're walking on eggshells. That's not a healthy environment. They don't believe that they have the freedom to speak their minds on a lot of these university campuses. And with that said, I have to say that I agree with the fact that although we have our leftist and our left and our right political aisles, and we have our left agenda and the rights agenda, I believe that there are professors in our universities that are on both sides of the aisle that really honor the high calling of their lives to pass on solid educational curriculum and great historical accuracy onto their students for the benefit of their students. And yet, one of the things that I see that really defines the substance of woke ideology is how quickly they turn on their own. If you are somebody who is a leftist, you're great as long as you fall in line with every point of uh, their ideology. But once you take the liberty to have a different thought about a certain thing, then they attack you. You look at J.K. Rowling, who had supported the LGBTQ, who supported drag queens and such. She was fine. Everything was great with her and the left until she made the stand and the statement that, hey, look, there's men and there's women. You want to dress like a woman, dress like a woman. You want to dress like a man, dress like a man. Live your life, she says. But she says, let's not remove practical reality and scientific fact from that. Let's remain in the understanding of what our science has revealed to us and has proven to us for all these years that look, there's men and there's women. There is no time, place, in any way, shape, or form that a man is going to put on a dress, have gender surgery, and yet still be able to be impregnated with the child. And so her point was just, look, you can do what you want to do, but here's scientific reality, and they just cast her out. They just assaulted her at every turn this woman makes. They are like piranha, just wanting to devour her, and that is what anyone who wants to side with this woke ideology can expect for themselves. It's a complete loss of personal liberty. You don't get to think for yourself anymore. You have to comply or they take you out. So I am absolutely sure there are Democratic uh, professors out there that want to remain faithful to their call to pass on, a great educational curriculum to their students, but they're hindered that if it at any time they should be historically accurate about something that conflicts with woke ideology, that they'll be thrown out, they'll be fired, they'll be attacked, they'll be assaulted on social media and picketed at their homes or receive death threats on their children's lives or such. I mean, it's absolute insanity. But for these professors and these people who are committed to the institution of teaching, they I agree with what Ron DeSantis is saying here, that now they have a place that is must be attracted to them where they're free to fulfill that high call. In addition to Monday's funding ban, the article goes on to say, DeSantis also signed a bill to ban public universities from requiring students and faculty to provide quote unquote diversity statements in order to be admitted or hired. Such statements typically are meant to demonstrate how an applicant's experiences would help make a campus more diverse and inclusive. And I think that is a powerful thing, because I think that teachers should be hired solely on the basis of their qualifications to teach and on their success of teaching. They should not be hired just because they support the woke ideology and that they're going to be committed to be historically inaccurate for the sake of woke ideology, or that they're going to promote leftist agenda or the left's talking points just so that they can continue to have their job and make a living for them and their families. I think one of the most revealing things about the woke ideology and of their fear of allowing the other side speak can be summed up in this: if you're too afraid of hearing an opposing view, it's probably because you're too afraid that you can be proven wrong. Now, that's not anybody's quote, that's my quote. That's what I believe. Now, I believe that way because I understand that what I think about everything is not necessarily what is right concerning everything. If I don't have the ability to listen in a mature manner to someone else's thoughts and their opinions, and not just their thoughts and their opinions, but the whys behind they have those thoughts and those opinions, then I am never going to know if I'm right or not. You see, if I believe 2 plus 2 is 4 and someone believes 2 plus 2 is 5, then show me the math. Well, my math proves that 2 plus 2 is 4, so I'm grounded in what I believe. Their math proves that 2 plus 2 does not equal 5. So I know that their viewpoint is wrong. I'm grounded in my belief. However, if I happen to believe that 2 plus 2 is 5, and I give someone else an opportunity to show me why they believe 2 plus 2 is 4, then when they show me the math, I'm the recipient of the benefit. I'm the one that gets to say, oh my gosh, I was wrong. Now I can conform and change my thinking so that I can be right. And I think what a lot of the reason that our youth today are so depressed is because they don't have a sense of personal attainment. They just live the lives they're told to live. They believe just what they're told to believe. They do what they're told to do. They don't have the experience of coming to their own conclusions about things. They're denied those experiences. They're denied the ability to strive for something. When you look at these, the admission standards for these colleges, they're all diversity ruled. They're not ruled by a student's hard work and their efforts to get there. The issue with the admissions of universities is this: if there are areas that have lesser educational standards, then we need to target those areas and create a means and bring about a solution that increases the educational standards in those areas so that those students can work as hard as the next student in some other area to attain fairly in admissions into a university they want to go to. We got to stop thinking that, hey, well, let's just not address the real problem and then make sure that anybody can get into a university and then give them a degree even though they don't know what 2 plus 2 is. That's not beneficial for the student's life. But when a young person has to work for something and they have the opportunity to get something and they get it fairly, then they get that sense of personal achievement and attainment, and that sustains them. They're not so depressed anymore because they understand the value of their life. So, with all this said, I have to agree with Ron DeSantis and the need to return our universities back to where they prioritize the accuracy of our educational curriculum and not the promotion of the woke ideology. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you enjoy this content, I ask you would please be so kind as to share it with others, as it'll definitely help the channel grow. And please don't forget to hit that like button, to click that subscribe button, and punch the notification bell to be notified whenever a new video comes out. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to listen. Until next time.